Hello, everyone. This is composer Randall Standridge. And first of all, I want to say thank you for joining the Stay and Scream Consortium. I'm very excited to work on these pieces and give you a little bit of the background information to not only them, but just to me as a composer, what it's like to be as a composer, the meanings behind the pieces, the process I go through, kind of all of that. I'm going to try to give you as much information as possible. So anyway, just a little bit of a background of these pieces. First of all, as I'm sure many of you know, but just in case you don't, these pieces are part of what I have come to refer to as the Unbroken Project, which are pieces that are specifically designed to address mental health issues, mental health experiences, and social and emotional learning. So that's what these pieces are about. So far, up until this point, there have been 6 pieces in the project. It all started with a piece called Unbroken, which is a grade 5. And by the way, I'll be putting links to all of these in the emails so that should you want to explore these other pieces and at least listen to them to give them some context for the 2 new ones, you'll be able to. But anyway, the first piece was called Unbroken, which was a grade 5, high symphonic work. And then from that, I created 5 other pieces so far. 2 were very strongly related to Unbroken, the first of which was called Not Alone. And then there was another piece called Fragile. And those 3 really make a triptych. They all kind of follow the same structure and kind of the same themes and motives and things like that. 2 other pieces in it that are more joyful and kind of, fast-paced were Choose Joy, which is a grade 3 concert opener. And then there was also Blue Sky Horizon, which is also very joyful. And both of those kind of reflect on the more positive aspects of mental health. Then last year I released the 6th piece, which was called Me Reaffirmation, which had more to do with bullying, self-worth, self-bravery, and things like that. So those are the 6 pieces so far. And there's really one more piece that isn't like officially a part of the Unbroken Project, but in my mind it kind of is, which is the piece that Me Reaffirmation was based off of, which is just called Affirmation. So technically there's 7 pieces, but Affirmation hasn't been officially labeled an Unbroken, project piece. So anyway, that brings us to the 2 new pieces that I'm creating, Stay and Scream. Stay is very much based on the idea that all of us have a life that is worth living. I can tell you from my own personal experience that I live with depression and anxiety. And these are just things that I deal with on a daily basis. My depression in particular is what is called cyclical, which means I go through episodes of, feeling really good and then feeling really bad. And when I feel really bad, there are days where I just really, don't know if I can go on. And I almost feel like the world would be better off without me. But a few months ago, I had a kind of neat experience. And let me back up on that before anybody gets worried about me. I mean, I've had years of therapy, plus I'm on medication. So you don't need to worry about Mr. Standridge. I'm just telling you how I feel at those moments. But fortunately, I have the tools to get through those moments and to, make it out the other side, which I'm very grateful for. But anyway, going back to this experience I had, I was walking down the street and I saw this person in front of me that had this t-shirt. And on the back of the t-shirt, it said, "Hey, you, the person reading this, the world is better with you in it." And it just had a really profound effect on me because it really caught me at one of those moments where I was in one of my lower points of, not feeling so great because of my depressive cycles. And it struck me that it was just a little push. It was just this little push that made me want to keep going. Not that I didn't anyway, but it felt nice. It just felt nice to read that. And so that served as the inspiration for this piece entitled Stay. And so, first of all, regardless of whether you deal with mental health issues or not, to you watching this, again, I just want to say the world is better with you in it. So stay. And that's what the piece is about. It's going to be very lyrical. It's going to be hopeful. It is going to reflect on some of the more, stressful aspects of this idea of pushing through and finding the will to stay, and also just asking somebody to stay. The kind of emotions that go with that when we have people that we're worried about, when we have people that we want to encourage and to try to get through dark times. So that's going to be the piece Stay. For total contrast, we have the second piece, which is called Scream. And scream is going to be like channeling negative emotions into energy and action. And there will actually be some screaming in it. And in fact, we're going to be using this instrument, which is called the Aztec Death Whistle. So those of you that are watching this, directors, you need to go ahead and order. You can find them on Amazon. They're very, very cheap. But they sound great. And by the way, you might see a couple of my pets around here. This is probably going to scare the crap out of them. But this is a really horrifying sounding instrument. It basically sounds like somebody screaming. Check this out. So that is just, the worst sound, so which means I love it. And there will also be vocalizations for people to scream. But anyway, we're going to take that, we're going to take part of the piece Not Alone that uses 12-tone, the bum-bum-bum, 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 all of that. And I'm going to be creating a new piece based off of that with some other kind of neat ideas. I want to create something that sounds very sophisticated, but for grade 1.5. And I'm confident enough in my abilities where I know I can do that. It's going to be a challenge, but I am up to the challenge. So that piece is going to be dealing with, what do we do with negative emotions? How do we take those negative emotions and channel them into energy and not let them consume us? And also, have fun while doing it. So that's just a little bit about the two pieces. I'm excited to get started on these. I'm always ready to write something. So I hope you enjoy the process. And, let's see what we can come up with. So until next episode, peace, love, and music.